Hello and welcome back to HVAC Shop Talk. My name is Zach Ciota. I'm your lovable host here, just to commune with you guys here for a little while and chit chat and have you guys call in, and perhaps someone can win the skilled trade up. And we do all these things here just at any time. You never know what's going to happen. Any of it could happen. You can call in. We can play the skilled trade up. Skilled trade up is a game where we win prizes. Prizes are fun. Oh yeah. So I even bought a prize, got myself a Roby prize right here. You guys are like, hey, Zach, what's that? What's that you got back there? Well, let me tell you. I can show you for those of you who watch. For those of you on the podcast later, it's irrelevant because you wouldn't have had a chance to win it anyway unless someone didn't win it tonight. So we have this. We have a Roby 1 Plus 18-volt half-inch hammer drill driver kit with battery and charger, 600 inch-pounds of torque, and it's just the bee's knees right there. So that's going to be up for grabs tonight on Skilled Trade Up, if you're so inclined. But I went to the tool store, and oh man, just good times at the tool store. I tell you what, I just love it there. I went to Direct Tools. It's one of the best places on earth to visit. Brent's talking trash already. Brent's just a trashy person, okay? Brent Ridley from the Tool Pros, don't ever listen to him, okay? Because he hates Ryobi, and so he's really going to hate what I'm about to show you guys. Because I went to the tool store up there in the Carolina Premium Outlets, where, you know, it's nestled in between Abercrombie, I can't even say it right. It's too feminine to even say. Carolina Pottery. Let's do Carolina Pottery is up there. And that's the only other store that I walk into just because it's so big. It's just like, wow, this is like the Grand Canyon of stores. So I go in there, and after about 5 minutes, I want to take my own life. But that's okay. That's all right. So I go to Direct Tools, and I buy stuff. And they had a sale. And I happened to be driving through because I was going up to Franklinton because Mallory, my daughter, was participating in the regional competition for track and field. And so I drove through there, Smithfield, North Carolina, which is where Direct Tools is at, all the way up there. It's kind of on the way. And then we're going to Greensboro this weekend, so we can probably make it on the way again. It'll be awesome. It'll be awesome. And I'll tell you what. I just wanted to say out there that Brent Ridley, I love Milwaukee, and I think they're great, but no one loves them more than Brent, and it's unhealthy. I'm just going to say it's an unhealthy level of love that Brent Ridley has for Milwaukee. I'm just going to say that. All right, and if Brent wants to call in, we can. We're not going to debate because Milwaukee is better, but Brent, you can absolutely call into this show, and we'll talk for a few minutes before I get fired off here, and I'd be happy to entertain all of Brent's knowledge and just absorb it. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so that's an open thing, because I really like Brent on the line whenever I show the tools, just so I can actually hear the throw up like that. It'd be better. It would be better. Yeah, he's a Milwaukee. He can't talk right now. Convenient, Brent. Oh, it's convenient all the time. You know, you're just sitting around watching television. You can't talk right now. It's after 9, Brent. The kids are asleep. I don't want to hear it. Okay. So anyway. So I went up to Direct Tools, and I've been wanting to get these things. So no, Cannon, you're not Brent, okay? Just hold on a minute, Cannon, and you can call in. So we have this. I purchased this. It's the Roby 1 Plus HP impact driver. It's brushless. It's their new HP line, which I have a couple tools from that line. And it's supposed to be 2,200 inch-pounds of torque on this impact driver. That would make it the strongest impact driver I've ever owned. So we're going to see how legitimate those concerns actually are, or those statements actually are. I'm going to compare it to the Craftsman brushless that I just got, and compare it to some of the older Roby, which is pretty tough. So we'll compare them. We maybe can compare them to the Hyper Tough over there. If the Hyper Tough wins, though, I mean, what do you do then? You just kind of throw all your tools away because the world doesn't make sense anymore. So I got this. This was part of a set. So poor podcast people, they can't hear me. And we have the Ryobi One Plus drill that comes with the set. This is not a hammer drill. This is just a regular drill. And this is supposed to have, I think they said it's supposed to have 750 inch-pounds of torque. But, you know, they never get what they say they're supposed to have. Because the nice Milwaukee drill, the one that's at Home Depot, it's always paired up for like $399. That one supposedly has like 1,200 foot-pounds. That would be awesome. Inch-pounds of torque. But this one does have a metal chuck, which is nice. It's a little upgrade over before, and it's supposed to be pretty powerful. So we shall see. We shall see. And last but not least. So I wanted something. Oh, let me hide it here. I wanted something as far as an impact wrench. I have the Craftsman compact impact wrench, which is like 150 foot-pounds of torque. I put it on a few videos over there on my little tool things that I do. And I was like, I want something nice. I want a impact wrench where if I see like a tractor that's been sitting in a field for 50 years, I can get out of the car and take it apart. That's what I want to be able to do. So I bought the big boy from Ryobi, which is the Ryobi One Plus HP mid-torque impact wrench to P262. It's brushless as well. It's got the 3 LEDs on the front. Half-inch, of course, half-inch socket connector. And it's supposed to be 600 foot-pounds of torque. And, you know, if you kind of translate that, then that would be 7,200, is that right? 7,200 inch-pounds. So, should be a lot. So, I bought some big old fat lag screws, and we're going to see how this does with those. I do like to do these tool videos every now and then, but I'll probably put them on this channel since I'm not doing enough of them to really make a difference on any other channel. So, every now and then you might see a tool video, but we use these tools anyway, so it kind of applies, right? Because I want to see if this bad boy can just bust the world in half. And they also had, while we're still talking about tools, just for another minute, we'll get into some HVAC stuff. They also have the new rigid high torque impact wrench. That's like 1,500 pounds of foot-pounds of torque. And I don't know if that's, I guess that's breakaway torque. I don't remember which one it is, but it's a lot of torque. So I'm curious to use this stuff. And it's fun. It's fun. So we do have some skill trade up. Back here you have a kit, because I want to get a kit for skill trade up, because if you don't have any Ryobi tools and you win, now you have a hammer drill, you have the battery and the charger. So, all right. So what's up, Cameron Rimmer, tuning in from, is that Southwest Florida? Is that what that means? Southwest Florida? Or Swallow Falls? I don't know what it means, but I think it's Florida. I'm going to go with Florida until Cameron corrects me. Joe Shearer says you. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. It's just a you. I don't know what that means, Joe. We have Cannon Casey says, love that Ryobi impact wrench. And man, I'm looking forward to busting some nuts. This can bust the nuts off a Tin Man. That's what I'm going to say. That's my new saying. That's what it's going to be. It's not quite derogatory enough to be bad. Ryobi is decent stuff, better than the Harbor Freight crap. Yeah, it's definitely better than the Harbor Freight stuff I've tested so far. Here's something we can all agree on. That no matter what tool you have, it's better than Hart. Hart is the worst. Now, I haven't tried the new Hart brushless stuff, but I can't manage to buy that stuff, because if they sell it for more, like the Ryobi brushless drill and impact driver was like just over $100 because it was on sale. It was like $105. So it's like, yeah, and it comes with 2 of their like high output batteries, so to speak. And then you go into Walmart and the 2 brushless Hart things are like almost $200. It's like, you got to be kidding me. You drinking. You're nuts. Man, oh man, oh man. Let's see. Joe Shear said, you going to start working on your cars? Hey, no more than I already have, Joe. Not a whole lot. I'll take the tires off. I'm going to take the tires off like I'm in a pit crew now. But besides that, not any more than I already have, which is basically out of necessity. If something happens and I need to fix the car right away, I will go learn how to do it on YouTube and then fix the car, which is what I've done in the past. And it's worked. It's worked. So let me read some of the comments here. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. I got to go back up here. So, yeah, Southwest Florida is where Cameron's from. That was a good guess on my part. I had that right. Brent said there is a new podcast coming out tomorrow, Plumbing School. And yes, I asked Brian Orr if the name was okay. So, Brent, you're doing like, you really should have called in, Brent, because I can ask you questions about this whole plumbing school thing. So, if you do get freed up, feel free to call in, okay? You can do that. And what's up from Texas says Robert LaFuente. What's up, Robert? Good to see you. And Mark Bazer says, doing HVAC work, I've never needed more than my Makita 18-volt impact can do. I use one of the compact Bosch 12-volt. Yeah, I use a 12-volt rigid drill whenever I do most of the stuff I do. And there's probably never an instance, although I would like to see what it does to one of those blower pullers, those cheap ones. It'll probably cross-thread and destroy them. Well, that would be kind of fun to see, actually. Well, we'll see about that. I've never needed anything this big either. This is more of anything around the house, and if I want to put a half-inch lag screw through the hardest wood possible, I got it going on now. Okay. Fernando Hernandez says, Big Roby user here, just broke a 10-year-old impact drill, still have a lot of the blue Roby tools. Yeah, I had a blue ones for a long time, man. I still have the blue radio, but that's about it. Everything else is no longer blue. Cameron says, I have the 18-volt, the M18 Milwaukee hydraulic impact, and they're supposed to be quieter. And I think Ryobi has the quiet strike, which I was thinking about getting that, but they're kind of like an old idea now. It's not brushless or anything like that, and they're only like $40 at Direct Tools. I think they're pretty cheap at Home Depot too. I think actually at Home Depot they're that cheap. Oh man, oh man. So Brent and one of the guys know each other. All right, so here's the deal, Phil. Here's what I'm going to tell you guys. All right, at any time during the show, I mean, the show is yours. You call in, we talk about what you want to talk about. I come up with some ideas here, but besides that, we're going to talk about what you want to talk about. The number's on the screen. You can call in. I've thought about how to limit the amount of time on each call, because some of the calls have been like the whole show, and while they were really good calls and I enjoyed them, it's like, okay, well, I probably can't do that every time, because then other people won't get a chance to call in if they wanted to. So we'll probably do something like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, something like that. I don't have a timer on the screen or anything like that, but I think that's probably fair. Cannon called and then hung up immediately. I don't know what that's. You prank calling Cannon now? Your name's on the screen, okay? So it's not much of a prank. So I will hold out and see if he calls back. In the description of this video, at the very bottom, you'll see a link. If you want to play the skilled trade up, you can hit that link and you can play the skilled trade up. All that is a game where I ask you trivia questions. If you get the questions right, you win a tool. And you can either keep that tool or you can risk it and go up to the next level where the questions are harder, but the tools are better. And we're still working into this game. So right now we're going to have a Ryobi drill set you could win. But there's some other stuff too, some sockets and things like that, all sorts of stuff. So if you want to do that, you can do it. I'll kind of keep an eye out over here, see if anybody pops up on the screen. And Cannon, you did call. So I mean, you want to talk about something. Like to say, the show's yours, but I have something I could talk about in the meantime, so it's no big deal. So I'm going to go over to my other screen right here. Remember, you can call in at any time. We'll get back to whatever I'm working on, because the Discord guys were talking about long line set stuff. So I was like, hey, I'm going to look up some long line set stuff. So I went to the Google, and this thing's only 8 pages long, and we're not going to have to read all of it. But this is Goodman Manufacturing Company, and this is long line set application R410A. So what does it mean? What does it mean to have to do this? And what all do you have to do? So we're going to skip all this stuff that talks about you have to be qualified because it's Goodman, and that's ridiculous. I mean, half the people that put in Goodman aren't qualified, right? I'm sorry. It's also from January 2012. So take it with a grain of salt. 50 things have changed since then, but I figure it'll be kind of a good, cool thing to look at least, to see if we do the things that it says we should do. So it says equivalent length must be used to determine acceptability for any long set application. Long line set application, see section 5. So you're going to have to add up probably some twists and turns because they're not straight, and you can count them as a long straight section according to their section 5 chart. Number 2 says for any residential split system installed with a long line set, 3/8 liquid line must be used. Limiting the liquid line size to 3/8 is critical, since an increased refrigerant charge level from having a larger liquid line could possibly shorten a compressor's lifespan. So that's pretty interesting right there. So if you end up putting in the wrong size liquid line, you're going to need more refrigerant, and it's going to saw off the life of your compressor. That's pretty interesting right there, because I know I've seen a few larger tonnages out there, and they will end up doing like a 1/2-inch line set for a 5-ton or maybe even a 4-ton. And I always thought that was fine, but maybe on the long line set application, maybe that's not okay. Let's see. I still think it's probably okay. You guys can tell me if you think I'm right or wrong. I think that's probably fine. So let's keep on going. Exceptions for air conditioning, cooling only applications. A 1/4 inch liquid line may be used in 1.5 ton applications for up to 100 equivalent feet with a maximum 40-foot vertical lift. That's interesting. And a 2-ton application for up to 75 equivalent feet with a maximum 40 or 20-foot vertical lift. So you can actually use a 1/4 inch line set, a 1/4 inch liquid line on a 2-ton unit with 75 equivalent feet. That's pretty interesting. And look, it says the same thing for 5/16, and for a 1.5 tons, you can go all the way up to 250 equivalent feet, which should be any line set. That's amazing. 250 equivalent feet with a maximum 60-foot vertical lift. 2-ton applications up to 200 equivalent feet with a maximum 40-foot lift. And then 2.5 ton, 175 with a maximum 30-foot lift. Now, I remember one time, and I'll come back to this. I remember one time I actually I didn't run it. It was already there. A 5/16 liquid line for a 3-ton unit, and there was no way to change it out. And so I just kind of had to go with it. And no, honestly, in my gut, which is the stupidest thing you could probably say, in my gut, I believed it was going to work. And it worked out just fine. So far, it's only been 10 years, but it's worked out so far. So I know you can push the envelope a little bit. I don't condone that, though. I probably shouldn't even have told that story. It never happened, guys. Forget about it. Let's go to number 3 and just forget I was talking there. Most refrigerant tubing kits are supplied with 3/8 thick insulation on a suction line for long line sets over 80 feet. If a line set passes through a high ambient temperature zone, that would be your attics right there. 1/2 inch thick suction line insulation is required to reduce loss of capacity. So I think most of us use 1/2 inch wall Armaflex now. I think that's across the board, or larger in some circumstances. The liquid line must be insulated if more than 50 foot of liquid line will pass through an area which might reach temperatures of 30 degrees Fahrenheit or higher than outdoor ambient. Never attach a liquid line to any uninsulated portion of the suction line. Well, that's pretty interesting. So you have to insulate the liquid line too. I bet that's something I never knew. So I'm learning here along with you guys, maybe. Maybe not. I'll go to the comments in a second. We'll find out. Number 4 says a crankcase heater must be installed on any compressor if a crankcase heater is not already factory installed. That means you can't just keep wrapping multiple crankcase heaters around each other. I guess that's what that means. But that would make you kind of crazy. So you have other problems. Hard start assist kit is required. So you have to put in your hard start kit, whether you use I personally, whenever I was faced with this issue, I would use the compressor saver that I forget who makes it. The compressor saver, I've used about a zillion of them. They have the one larger size for 4 and 5 tons, and then the smaller size for 3 tons or 3.5 tons and below, something like that. Or it might be 3.5 to 5, and then 3 tons and below, I think. So, maximum equivalent. Oh, let's see. I skipped one. Use of a thermostatic expansion valve, or TXV, is required in all long line set applications. Unit must be charged to 6 degrees plus or minus 1 degree subcooling at the indoor unit. Now, I think that's probably the most critical statement right there, because if you have a long line set and you have 100 foot of line running through a location where, like, the attic's 140 degrees or 150 degrees, and you measure it outside, it could be a different story inside. So that's actually pretty interesting right there. I don't remember ever measuring subcooling. Well, no, that's not true. I think once or twice I did measure subcooling at the evaporator itself, but I guess you should be doing it with these long line set applications to make sure that there hasn't been any temperature change from passing through one of those ambient locations. Interesting. Number 7 says maximum equivalent length of a line set is 250 feet for single stage units with scroll or reciprocating compressors, 150 for single stage units with rotary compressors, 150 for 2-stage units. Very interesting. Maximum linear length of line set is 200 feet for single stage units, at 150 for single stage with rotaries, and 150 for 2-stage units. So the only one that changed there was the scroll or reciprocating single stage units. And let's see down here. Verify low voltage wiring gauge is adequate for the length used due to increased line set application. So if your wire is about a zillion feet long, embellishment maybe, then you're going to have enough resistance in that wire where the voltage is going to keep dropping. And if you pass a certain length, the voltage will drop low enough where things will start to go haywire potentially. So I guess, especially on some of the older units, sometimes you saw it wasn't 18 gauge, it would be like 20 gauge or 22 gauge, I think. I don't know. And some people would run it, it looked like doorbell wire or something like that. It was really thin stuff. Number 10 says vibration and noise in long line set applications. Refrigerant tubing is highly prone to transmit noise and vibration to the adjoining structure. Use adequate vibration isolating hardware when mounting line set to structural members. Interesting. Oh, look, it has a little picture of it. Installation of refrigerant piping from vertical to horizontal. Liquid line strapped to suction line. A hanger. Well, that looks like it worked beautifully. The wall studs. It's kind of isolated. You could tell the way they're hanging that there. It's like hanging off of a cross beam. Installation of refrigerant piping vertical. There's just all sorts of stuff they have that no one does here. I've seen a lot of these out there in the field, and ain't none of them like this. Slackers. Slackers. This is you guys. This is y'all's installations. Outdoor unit, indoor unit are in the same elevation. Crankcase heater, 40 watts minimum. Yes. Hard starts. Yup. TXVs. Yup. Liquid line solenoid at the outdoor. For an air conditioner, it's no. For a heat pump, it is yes. You have to have the liquid line solenoid. Another thing I have not installed on some of those, or all of them. Inverted refrigerant trap at indoor. Neither one of them need that. Oil trap at indoor. Neither one of them need that. Interesting. So you don't need the oil trap. Very interesting. All right, let's go back to some of the comments before I go any farther here. You guys you've been talking up a storm here. Oh my gosh. See if I can read some of these. Going to the chat. They're talking about HVAC talk. I can skip that part. 521 has the crappiest capacitor, though. They always go bad. Yeah, I've seen some of those go bad, but the ICM ones went bad too, the ones that I was using. Here, I'll come back over here. All right, let's see. Goodman has some interesting startup adjustments and charging instructions I've never seen anyone actually do in my area, especially the two-stage scrolls. So I'll bring up one of those next time or something. We'll look at the Goodman charging instructions. Because it's nice to look at the instructions on some of these things, guys, because you kind of learn, it's like, oh, we're supposed to be doing this stuff. And maybe that's why this unit that I'm servicing is having a problem. Because, this never happened to begin with, like the solenoid. How many people are skipping that solenoid? Everybody is what I'm thinking. Let's see here. Thomas says, on the Yorks, it says 100 feet maximum, and they consider 75 feet a long line set. Yup. Oh, let's see. I must have skipped down again. No, that's all of it. Okay. All right, so let's bring back that again. And in a completely horizontal installation with a long line set where the indoor unit is the same altitude as or slightly below the outdoor unit, the line set should be sloped continuously toward the indoor unit. This helps reduce refrigerant migration to the outdoor unit during the system's off cycle. Now will affect when a compressor starts up. You have a bunch of migration. Then you have some oil loss because it'll start and I think eject some of the oil with liquid refrigerant and it'll cause a problem. The maximum elevation difference for this section to be applicable is 10-foot separation between outdoor unit and indoor unit. Okay, so 10 foot. An accumulator is not required for air conditioners. Accumulators are factory installed on heat pumps. All right. Because you've seen some, I saw Petinato, one of the guys I used to watch, he put an accumulator on a refrigeration system just to, I'm not sure why. I don't remember why he did that, but he was installing an accumulator. He was kind of I don't know what the proper wording is. Like we called them the cowboys of HVAC, where you go in and just like put in parts you thought would make the unit better or whatever. Whether they did or not, who knows? Some of them did, I'm fairly certain. I was a cowboy one time. Now that's over. Suction line must be sloped continuously. Oh, it looks like we have a phone call. Let me see who it is on the telephone. Hello, you're on the air.
How you doing? Sorry to interrupt you. You were having a pretty good lecture there.
Hey, that's no problem. My lectures tend to be kind of boring. So you probably just woke up a couple people. Thanks, man.
So a little short story. I'm in as you can see, I'm in Eastern North Carolina.
I saw that. What's your name?
Isaiah Dawson.
Okay, Isaiah.
I am I'm still in college right now, doing an HVAC program. I'm obviously up and coming, but I'm trying to work this summer. I got a job at a heating and air company, and I'm going to be working for about 3.5 months or so. But see, I wanted to do service work, but they told me, obviously they only send one service guy on a call, and they wouldn't feel comfortable, having me on, because I don't have experience. They wouldn't feel comfortable with, me being by myself.
And you're like,
And
how do I get experience if you don't send me on the call?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was like, so they want me to install basically. So because I never thought about installing, and I'm fine with it. But if I want to do service work, throughout my HVAC career, then I'm kind of confused on how would I, get up to doing service work if nobody's gonna, let me if I don't have infield experience. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a
So
good question. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I wanted to get your viewpoint on that as well as, because like I said, I'm still in school. So how, like, what advice do you have for me? Because, I did a change out with a guy, and I'm 6'5", and addicts are usually like, very small, and it was just really hard getting around and stuff. So I just wanted to see if I could get some advice from you.
Well, absolutely, man. I'm 6'3", so I feel your pain. I did install for a long, long time, and there was a lot of attics that I wish I didn't have to be part of, just because it was hard for me to physically fit in the areas where I had to. Um, I think first of all, maybe look at the install part of it as a benefit, because it's going to be a benefit. Because if you know how to install the equipment, you're just going to be a better service tech for when that time comes. Because you'll
Mhm.
know like the code, you'll know the proper sizing just from repetition. It's like you see, maybe you're out on a job, you have to install a 2-ton unit, and you see they keep running 14-inch round duct off of it. So you say, okay, 14 inches is the right size duct. So later on, when you're a service tech and you see that someone ran a 10-inch duct, you say, okay, this might be a problem, because of your install experience will help you out. Now, if you install for a long period of time, I don't know how your company does it, but on split systems, perhaps a service tech has to start up the unit. But that would be what I would probably do if I was in your shoes. After I get some experience on install, asked if you can be there for the startup as often as possible, because that's the closest thing to service right there. As an installer, you'll see the unit started up, and then maybe try to take over the role as the person who starts things up. Then that's kind of a bridge, I think, into being a service tech.
Yeah, because when he told me that, I kind of, it's my, like, I mean, I've worked one job before in my life. It was my second ever interview, and I kind of looked at him for a second when he said, I couldn't do service work. I kind of like looked at him like awkwardly, because I didn't know what to say. But I mean, like I told my instructor, I said, I don't view it as a bad thing. It's not. I'm open with doing anything, as long as it involves HVAC. So, I'll just stick with it.
That's a good way to look at it, because it really will be a huge benefit for someone who goes to school and right out of school becomes a technician. They'll miss the benefit that you'll have, because installing, even though I don't know how you feel about it, but after a while, but I don't like installing. I never liked it, but it's good information to have. It really is. So just think of it as a positive. That way, it's easy to bide your time while you're waiting to become a service tech full time, and you will
Mhm.
get some information that you might have not gotten before, and you'll be a better service tech in the end, and better than those who didn't have your experience further down the road. You'll have an advantage over them. So, I mean, that's how I would rationalize it, make myself more fired up about going to do installs every day.
And I also wanted to, while I'm on here boring you with my life story, I wanted
No,
to
you're
ask
good,
you
man.
what you probably talked about it a few times, but I want you to ask you on your opinions about, hydrocarbons, because they've been here for a little while, but, they're going to be more implemented in, residential heating and air. So I just wanted to get your viewpoint on it.
So with hydrocarbons themselves, I don't think we're going to see too much as far as pure hydrocarbons in residential for a while, unless I'm missing something that's on the cutting edge out there. The closest thing we have to hydrocarbons in residential are going to be like your R22 replacements have hydrocarbons in them, but the concentration of the percentage level of hydrocarbons, like you're talking about like R290, which is propane, or
Hmm.
R600 or R600A, uh, when they put them into those blends that are R22 replacements, they're only there to carry oil back to the compressor. That's why
Hmm.
they've been inserted into those. That's really my whole experience with those. If you want to pass over into refrigeration, you may see it a whole lot more often with the R290 on these small appliances. But for me, if you're doing only residential HVAC, you'll probably never run up on a pure hydrocarbon, at least in the foreseeable future. You're more likely to run up on a mildly flammable refrigerant like R32 or R454B in the next couple years, which isn't nearly as flammable, But still, you require training for it, and that's pretty easy to come by. You can listen to podcasts and get a substantial amount of training on the A2L refrigerants, and I'm sure, or I hope, I don't know what equipment you guys sell, but whatever equipment you sell should have some sort of training available, especially if they're switching to one of these refrigerants, like Carrier will be next year. So I don't know where your equipment branding is located, but there should be some training available. But it's not going to, I don't think it's going to be the shocker that everybody thinks it is. I don't think it's going to be the difficulty everybody thinks it is. I just dislike it because I don't think the government really cares about our safety at all.
Yeah, I think there's a bigger objective to it, but I'm not going to get into it here live. But I got a window unit with R600A, and then I don't even want to touch that thing, man. But I guess it would just be, better procedures and, people, technicians not cutting corners. I don't know if technicians cut corners, but, I'm saying I'm sure some technicians cut corners.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, everybody cuts a corner in the right circumstance, right? Well, I was saying, yeah, if you have like a small appliance like a window unit, yeah, because the charge has to be really small. It just has to be a few ounces for them to be able to use a hydrocarbon. So just think about this is just a few ounces. And the positive is that you don't have to recover it because it's a natural refrigerant and it's basically no GWP. So you just release them within reason. You don't release them in a confined space or anything like that. But yeah, that's the only place you're going to find it, like refrigerators and really small window units. But like we're not going to run as residential techs, we're not going to really have to deal with A3 refrigerants like propane unless you're working on a window unit, which I don't even see the point of. It's almost cheaper just to go buy one.
Yeah, just go buy another one. That's what I had to. I don't know what happened to it. I cleaned the coils on it. I wrapped everything up good, and it just wouldn't cut on anymore. I tried to get another display board for it today, and it didn't work. So I'm about to send it back to the parts house, and I'm just gonna buy another one because I'm not gonna even waste my time.
Yeah, I think that's probably wise. I mean, you can still get window units. I don't know with the inflation that's in place now. I would assume you could still get a cheap window unit under $200. I would think, without spending too much time on it. But yeah, I think that's about as close to highly flammable refrigerant as someone like you or I would come in our positions.
Yeah, mine. My window unit is it is a GE window unit. It's 6,000 BTUs. It's only 250 at the most or so. So
yeah, absolutely. And there'll probably be about 1 million of them on Craigslist.
No lie about that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, it says I saw you called in. So you're from I don't want to say exactly what area you're in, but you're in the north coastal region. I don't know.
I usually don't say it because nobody knows where it is, but I'm in Williamson, North Carolina.
Williamson. I don't know where that's at.
It's like 30 minutes from Greenville.
So which direction from Greenville are you?
Probably northeast.
Okay, so Greenville's about an hour and a half from me because I'm in Wallace, basically. So man, only a couple hours away. Hey, and you have great access to direct tools as well. You lucky dog.
Yeah, I just I don't know, man. I work, like in the labs, I've had some really good tools and some really good meters, etc. And I just did like a little starting bag a few weeks ago. I just went to, now nobody do this, please. I just went to Harbor Freight and got, some tools and stuff, just some little simple stuff. But I'm probably gonna, make some big investments within the next 6 months or so, getting, real good tools.
All right, there's a few tools at Harbor Freight that I think Harbor Freight's weird. Some things you buy, it's like, oh, this is awful, and then some things are okay. Like I have some snips from Harbor Freight, and they aren't wonderful, but they'll get you by for a while, and things like that. Some hand tools and stuff, because real nice hand tools are expensive. So it's nice to when you're starting out, it's okay to go to Harbor Freight. Don't let them people make you feel bad. You got to do what you got to do. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Say, man, where did you get those tools from? And I was like, yeah, I mean, this is rookie stuff, so you stay up there in the veteran area. But
I tell you what you do. You just wrap some duct tape around those tools and write Knipex on them or something like that. And said, that don't look like any legitimate Knipex. Said, you won't even know a legitimate Knipex. You turn them into the person don't know what they're doing. Said, you don't even know what Knipex is. This is legit.
Well, I remember last time I called, you said, oh, this is a local calling in, but it was like, I don't know, it was like 10 o'clock or something. So I didn't know if you're about to, get off the air or not, but I just wanted to, call in and finally get my say.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you did, man. Hey, continue to call in. The show's 3 nights a week now. It's Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. So feel free to call in anytime, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, take it easy, Isaiah. Good to talk to you.
Hey, good to talk to you too. All right.
Bye. Isaiah from Carolina boy right there. Okay. Well, okay, since we had like a break right there, man, oh man. Oh, and Brantley, welcome to the show. Hey, man, that's cool. You've been watching for a long time. That's awesome. Like I said, it's Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. We're gonna try that. You know, schedules are a challenge for me. It's out of my control, guys. Let me tell you, it's out of my control. I promise you. But I think we can make this one work. We're gonna try it. We're gonna see how long it goes. And let's see if there's any comments. UV lights. Oh man, we could get back to that. Okay, yeah. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a little sponsor spot, and I'll come back and we'll pick up on this long line set stuff. We'll take some more phone calls. Like I said, if someone wants to play the skilled trade up, if you want to win tools, free tools, then there's a link in the description of the video. If you can't find it, let me know. Okay. So I mean, 4 questions away from having new power tools. You know what I'm saying? So look down there, find it. It's in the description. If you can't find it, heck, I'll put it in chat. I ain't worried about it. But there, let's do the sponsor bits right here, as long as I got the right ones queued up. And let's see if I do this right, guys. Here we go. Workwithyourhands.com is a web page that hooks up people looking for jobs with great trade jobs. On the screen right now, I just have a few of the positions available in Durham, North Carolina. Service technicians, HVAC installers, there's some plumbing stuff, electrical stuff. Pretty much all the different skilled trades. Jobs are open all across the nation, and there's no reason not to take a look if you're looking to make a move. It's workwithyourhands.com, and you can find links in the description of this video to your next job. Our sponsor, NAVAC, is running a promotion from May the 1st all the way till September 30th of this year. And when you purchase a qualifying vacuum pump, you get 2 free products. You choose 2 out of the following 3. The NHB1 3/8 inch to 1/4 inch evacuation hose, the NHB2, the 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch evacuation hose, or the NVR1 core remover. So there's 2 really nice free items every time you get one of the qualifying vacuum pumps. You can find out more at NAVAC Global, and you can purchase these things at TruTechTools.com, but use our Shop Talk discount code if you purchase from TruTech to save 8%. So I'm looking down there, guys. I'm going to play another spot. The link is in the description. It's at the very bottom of the description. It says, join me on the show. That's the link. I should probably write STU, but I didn't write STU. So y'all going to have to forgive me. But there it is right down there at the bottom. So feel free to hit that and come on here and see if you can't win some tools. And let's get back to the sponsor soiree. This program is brought to you by Yellow Jacket, and this is the Yellow Jacket Wireless Refrigerant Charging Scale, part number 68864. Has a 220-pound capacity, a large platform. It's easy to carry, has a handle built in. I've been using this one for a while. Bluetooth connection. There's no screens on it. You just turn it on. It links up to your phone, and you can watch it from the YJack View app. A really nice and very durable scale. This is the 68864 Wireless Refrigerant Charging Scale from Yellow Jacket. Hey, we got a phone call while I was doing my sponsor bits. Who's on the line?
It's me. It's me.
It must be Steve.
It is. What are you doing there, brother?
Well, you know what, Steve? I was talking to this young gentleman who called me, and that was a pretty good time there, talking to Isaiah from up in North Carolina, not too far from me. What are you doing? That's the question.
Well, I'm just sitting here getting ready for the long hot week. Just getting ready to go to bed, actually. Thought I'd chime in with you a little bit since nobody wants to play. Maybe as a champion, maybe I can show them how to do it. Or maybe I just lose everything tonight. Who knows?
Well, you got to go to the. Did you hit the link though? You got to hit the link.
I didn't hit no link. I just said, "Hey Siri, calls that."
Well, there's somebody already down there, but I'm gonna tell you, there's a guy down there, but you have to have your camera on. So, guy who's down there, I don't know if you can hear me either. Well, guy who's down there in the chat, he has to have his camera on. But
Okay,
Steve. Well, no, he doesn't have a camera on. So if you go hit that link, Steve, get on here and win some stuff, okay? Because I'm taking the first guy who shows up with a camera.
He ain't got his cam. Tell him to turn his cam on. I have to go turn my computer on. I don't want to do it on my phone.
You could, hey, go ahead, man. These people don't want to win tools. That's what I'm saying. You have time. Watch there'll be like 15 people in front of you next when you get on there.
All right, here, I'm gonna go fire up my computer.
All right, man.
Carry on the chat.
Carry on, my wayward son. Yeah, that's a good song. I like that. All right. Carry on my wayward son. All right. So, dude that's over there, you got to have a camera on. And I'm going to type him, and there's a private chat over here. Turn on your camera. On your camera to play. I don't know if he hears me or not. Anyway, we'll wait so long because I got to be able to see you because, otherwise you just have like your phone Googling things and I can't see you. And got to be able to see you. Got to be able to see people, all right? And I probably should do. Oh, there he goes. He's got it. Oh, he's ready to go. All right, let's do this. I see him down there. He's ready. I can see him. All right, I'm going to turn the thing on. Poor Steve. Poor Steve. Let's see. We have oh, he disappeared. Are you kidding me? I'm trying. He disappeared. I was just about to bring him in here and he disappeared. Well, we'll give him a minute here. I'm going to play the other sponsor bit in here. Well, hopefully they'll pop up again. Company Cam is the only app every contractor needs. Document your jobs, communicate with your crews, cover your company's butt. Every photo and video taken with Company Cam is always attached to a project, geotagged, date and time stamped, and user attributed. With Company Cam, you can impress your customers by showing them real-time progress, give them a full scope of your work, and show the proof at the times when you need to. Company Cam is also compatible with many, many different integrations, including apps like Jobber and House Call Pro. You can try Company Cam for free for 14 days, so head over to companycam.com to learn more. All right, hey, he reappeared. I see you down there, man. I see you. I'm going to bring you in here. Hold on a second. Let me see here. All right. How's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. What is your... No, that can't be your actual name. What's your name, or is that your actual name?
It's not my actual name. It's kind of like a nickname, but you could go ahead and call me Sergio.
Call you what?
Sergio.
Seth. Seth, is that right?
No, Sergio.
Sergio. All right.
Sergio. Yeah.
Oh, I got you here. See, I'm not good at this whole name thing.
Rolling your R's.
Sergio. Yeah, it sounds stupid when I say it. Legitimately.
Close enough.
So, do you know how to play this game? Do you know what we're going to be doing?
Yeah.
All right. You want to win big, right?
I just want to win something. No promises. If it's, I just want to win something. To
All
be
right.
honest.
Well,
I've been watching your show a long time, and I always tell myself, just cash out.
You know what? Hey, man, when people get going, if you watched it back in the day, people would get going, and they legitimately could not stop. It's like, I have to crash and burn. I can't stop, until they either win the big prize or they just lose everything. It's so funny.
Okay.
But, that doesn't have to be you, though. That doesn't have to be you. You can
Gotcha.
You can be the first person to play this game with self-control.
Well, yeah, self-control is not really my thing, but we'll go for it. We'll see.
You ought to be like everybody else then. So, okay, this is the first round. So you can play for either this sweet Appian Travel Cup, which will keep your beverages cool/hot depending on their nature, or this Hyper Tough Extended Mirror, which lets you see underneath your braces to see the spots you missed and the reason why all the nitrogen's getting out.
Okay, yeah, let's go for the mirror.
All right, we're going to go for the mirror
Try
here.
it.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a question, and then you're going to give us the right answer, and then you're going to win this mirror. All right, that's how it's going to work. I have confidence in you, okay? This is going to be an easy question, all right? So it's called easy, but, there's been some overlap between easy and hard before, so you can tell me. All right, here we go. Here's your first question, the easy question. If two capacitors, a 20 UF and a 10 UF, are connected in parallel, what is the equivalent capacitance? A, 15, B, 25, C, 30, or D, 10?
Damn, I don't know, but we'll go with C. Final answer.
Well, you say you don't know, but in fact, you do know. That's exactly right.
Woo! All right.
I like it, man. I like it. So you won that.
I think I'm ready to cash out.
Wait,
Actually,
hold
let's
on a
just do it.
second. Wait a second. Don't leave yet. All right,
Okay.
hold on. Just wait a second. You never know when I'm going to show you the next thing. You'd be like, wow, that would have been regrettable
Let's
had
go,
I
big
cashed
guys.
out. So here, you could have now, like, buckle your safety belt. So a Hart LED compact flashlight. I'm going to insert the word tactical because it seems tactical, but it doesn't say that. Or a Hart 20-piece socket set. Now, do you want to keep your prize, or do you want to trade up to one of these two prizes? Nice.
Darn. I guess we could try the socket set.
Oh, so you want to trade up for the socket set?
Yeah, we'll go for it.
All right, here we go. Oh yeah, it's gonna happen. I have a good feeling about this. So my good feelings are like 47% accurate. So this is pretty good. So here we go. Here it is, and good luck to you. Which of the following refrigerants does not legally need to be recovered? A, R290, B, R410A, or C, R454B, or D, all of them?
I think I'm going to go with C on that.
Is C your final answer?
No, let me think.
Think it over.
It does not legally need to be good. Okay, A leads blend. Actually, let's go with A.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, sure.
Well, that's the right answer. That's exactly right. So, hey, it was a little tense there for a second.
All right,
You know.
go on.
You got the socket set. So, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
could trade up to a much larger socket set.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of sockets there. You know, this one is nice. This is like the serviceman's friend. I always like carrying this. This is really nice to have with you. But this one has lots of stuff in it. And what's better than some stuff? Lots of stuff.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's up to you, though. They get harder. The questions get harder. They don't get easier. What are you thinking?
Yeah, you know what? Oh, fudge. I've been struggling these last couple questions, and I think I'm going to go ahead and bow out, and we will take the socket set
All right.
next time. But yeah, believe it or not, I only, those were complete guesses, if you guys couldn't tell. But
Wait,
I
you
got
know,
a socket
you
set out of
couldn't
it.
tell anything, man. Trust me. You couldn't tell
Okay.
anything. You
right.
did hesitate a little bit, but that's fine because now at least when you have a socket set and a couple HVAC facts right there, so that's a good
Yeah,
thing.
100%.
So I need your address. So I mail this thing to you, and you can just email me at hvacshoptalk@gmail.com. Okay.
All right, yep.
Cool.
Yeah, all the way out here in Idaho, so if it takes a while, it takes a while. I understand.
Idaho, man. Well, I'm sure. Well, I'll choose a fast horse to put it on.
Should I just send it to you in a chat, or
You
do I
know,
just find your email?
These people will be sending you all sorts of gag gifts if you put it in the chat. I do not trust the
okay.
people of the chat. Some of them. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do it just because I wouldn't want my address out there. But I would do the email. I think the email is the way to go. Or you can
Okay.
you can text the phone number on the screen as well. Either way.
Alrighty, I'll do that. Thank you. I appreciate it. Watch your show every week, and if I get this chance again, I promise you I'll just go for the whole thing.
That's right. We
No
like to
backing
call
out.
that balls to the wall. You go balls to the
Yeah,
wall.
I'll go balls deep.
Excellent, man. All right, congratulations, and I will see you again when you play next time.
All right, thank you.
No problem. Take it easy, man. Well, that was cool, dude. That was fun. All right. So we had a winner right there. Pretty cool. Sergio. I think I had that there. Sergio. Man, oh man. Yeah, I would never put my address in the chat. I would just expect awful things to happen. Not that I don't trust you guys, but I know what it's like to work in the trade. And tradesmen are not shy, even when they like you, about making sure they prank the crap out of you. And, anyone that's ever visited a porta potty more than a few times has figured that out. They figured that out, and they figured it out for sure. So, but congratulations on winning. That's awesome. Fantastic. And let's see here. I'm going to let's pick up on this long line set thing because Man, look at that. Oh, I got some text right there. Text rolling through. I'll get that after Isaiah. I'll answer that after the show for you. And what I'm going to do is we're going to go back to the desktop. We'll finish up our talk here. See if there's anything else about long line sets. And where are we at as far as time? 50 minutes. If someone wants to call in, you can. I'm going to wrap the show up after I have this conversation right here about the long line sets. I think we talked. It shows an oil trap construction there. It's basically a series of 4 or 3 elbows, actually 4 elbows, a 45 going into a 90, going into another 45, flattened out to create a trap, and then a 90 down. Very similar to what a P-trap looks like for your drain. Outdoor unit is below the indoor unit. They have all the statistics right here. And you do have to have the inverted refrigerant trap at the indoor if your outdoor unit is below the indoor unit. So, and that's pretty typical. The outdoor unit's typically below the indoor units, unless you have like an air handler in a basement or something like that, which does happen, just not around here. See, the maximum elevation, vertical difference between outdoor unit and indoor unit is 80 feet. So just keep that in mind if you have a multiple units serving an apartment complex and it's a multi-story thing, you could kind of get close to that. You might have to do some from the roof and some from the ground level, which is a pretty popular way to do it. That's the way it was for a lot of the stuff that I worked on. And suction line must be installed in a manner to prevent liquid migration to the outdoor unit. From the indoor unit, an inverted suction line trap must be installed in the suction line just before the inlet to the... Oh, I think we have another phone call here. All right, well, that's pretty much all the information we need on this, guys. Okay, let's get out of here. You are on the air.
Hey, Zach, this is Brantley from the chat. How are you doing, man?
Brantley? Didn't I just see you saying you wanted to call this show?
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to do another one, so I'm glad I get to talk to you a bit, man.
Man, I like that. I guess that I see your caller ID. That must be your company name, I'm guessing?
Yeah. I have, through the company, I use one phone. So, yep, Texas Pride out of DFW in Texas, man.
That's pretty good. Very nice.
Yeah.
So, what's up?
Oh, not much, man. Just wanted to call in and talk to you a little bit, get your opinion on some stuff.
I mean, it always blows my mind when you guys call for my opinion as if that is worth something. But go ahead.
Yeah. Well, so I don't know if you ever did much. What's your opinion on like multifamily installing fur downs and stuff like that?
Multifamily, you know what? I have done some multifamily installations. That would go all the way back to when I worked with my father years ago. Because when I went out on my own, it was, 2009, and I just did single family stuff. I would service apartment buildings, but I would never install anything at an apartment building, at least not from rough end stage. I replaced a few units they're like 3 stories, so they're not very substantial. But what is it specifically that you're referring to?
Oh, we just do, it's kind of an interesting relationship. The owner, he's buddies with a couple of general contractors, and they come in and do all these due diligences. So we basically come in, check all the units, condemn however many, and say, hey, going into summer, these are probably going to die on you. And then we come in and do a slew of changeouts. So that's just what we've been doing a lot of is fur downs and rooftop condensers, man.
Oh, man. So whenever you're doing these changeouts, since you're, what kind of buildings are these? Are these multi-story buildings? Are they substantial, or are they like 2-story apartment buildings, or what?
No, normally, yeah, it's like 2-story apartment buildings. We get lucky every once in a while, and the condensers are on the ground floor.
Oh, yeah.
It's just really interesting setups, man. You know, a lot of these buildings were built, 60s even, or 50s, and, they have 1/4-inch liquid lines and stuff like that. And it's always we also do mainly residential service, so like single family dwellings, and you always kind of have to put your foot in the mouth in these situations, because you're like, well, we should run 3/8, we should run new copper, but once you start talking about that, you're out the door. They don't want to work with you anymore.
Oh yeah, some of them it's virtually impossible on some of these buildings. I remember one in particular that it was my father's years ago, and it had a 1/4-inch liquid line, and we had to end up going with a train system, and I forget what tonnage it was, but it was the only one where we could get the technical support to sign off on a 1/4-inch liquid line. And I know train that they're 1.5 you could use a 1/4-inch on. I'm fairly certain. I don't know if they still can. But I mean, what do you guys do when you run into that? Do you go looking for new equipment, or do you have to, run a channel up a wall, or what do you do?
Man, we generally get clearance to run as much copper as we can. And then, just do a reducer and send it, try to get our pressures as close as we can to optimal, whenever we're weighing in charge and all that. But again, it's one of those things you're trying to put your foot in your mouth, as a technician and as an installer, because it shouldn't be that way. But, once the contract's signed, it's signed. So,
you know what? It's, I hope that whenever I do shows like mine, which is, I hope, a little bit different than some of the other ones that are out there, for we acknowledge that that is the case in the real world. I mean, it's not that you want it to occur like that, but sometimes you have to work within the constraints that are put on you, and that means making the best of a non-optimal situation. And it's a tough spot. I mean, everybody goes through it, so there should be no judgment on it. But I guess you still should strive to avoid it, or see if you can't think your way out of it, where you can do something completely by the book. But I know you get into stuff and it's very difficult.
Right. Well, my buddy Jacob, I've been doing AC on and off with him for years, and he works with me here as well. And he's a big fan of the show, man. And that's why we like your show. Because, we're all,
you guys are the two fans. Okay. So I knew I had two fans. So it's you two. Good deal.
Yeah, it's me and my buddy Jacob. We tune in all the time. But we're big fans of Brian Orr's as well and stuff like that. But that's why we like your show. It seems to be more along the field applications, and you just got to work with what you got, kind of stuff.
Well, that's what you get when you have an uneducated host, meaning no trade school, that had to come up learning in the field. You get someone that was born of the field.
Yeah, well, no, man, we're, I mean, in Texas, you sign up with TDLR and you get a little card that says, hey, you can do AC. And as long as you're working with somebody that has their Texas air conditioning contractor's license, you have that in an EPA and you're good to go.
Oh, man.
You don't have to go to trade school. So
off and running.
We just hired a guy who went to trade school, and his first day, it kind of came up, and I told him, no, I never went to trade school. Neither did, some of these guys you work with. And he's like, well, I'm glad I spent $3,000 on something I didn't need.
Hey, at least it was only $3,000, it could be a lot worse.
Oh yeah, man. But, aside from that, I don't want to hold you too long. I know it's been a long one, but, what's your, what are you feeling with this new equipment coming out, man? With, my concern with these kinds of situations is always the end product. So when we're talking to a homeowner and we tell them, hey, you need to change out, we got 410A, next year that's not the way it is anymore. How do you kind of deal with that dilemma? Or just what's your opinion on it,
Well, I could refer back to R22 and 410A. I mean, that was the thing. And you know what? There's different ways to look at this. There's, practical way, then there's sales way. And sales way is there is something we can leverage. There's a changing thing, and if you want to be on board with it, not be stuck in the past, and not just stuck in the past as in using antiquated technology, but being prepared for anything that comes your way. And it's used as leverage to sell systems. The 410A thing was definitely used in that way. Now, legitimately, R22 was going away, and thus 410A is going away as well. But if a system is in good shape and you can preserve it, I always say to preserve it within reason. But I've always been a stickler for going a little bit too far in that area. Whereas someone with more balance that, it's been like 14 years, 15 years. This system, it needs to be changed out. Let's not preserve it any longer. That makes sense. So you have to transition, and these are mildly flammable, which I think will be less of a big deal than we think it's going to be.
I tend to agree with that from the stuff you've talked about and other avenues. I think it's being a little overdone, but I also understand, if you've never worked on any kind of refrigeration systems at all, and you hear, propane, refrigerant, and all this, it can definitely be a little disconcerting. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And, just think everything burns if it gets hot enough. So these things just burn at a lower ignition temperature, and propane really burns. So good thing we don't have to deal with that for the most part. It's just, refrigeration side stuff. But our stuff, I mean, when I talk to the guys, the real smart guys on these A2L refrigerants, they say for something like R32 or 454B, you're going to have to want it to catch fire. You're going to have to be holding a flame to it for it to stay lit. Because when the flame is removed, there's not enough energy to keep it lit. So I think the bigger concern might be if there was some sort of structure fire. So I don't know how that's going to
interesting,
occur.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that's like because that's 200. Even at a static level, if the system's not running, it could be 200 psi of slightly flammable refrigerant. I don't know how that goes in a fire, but I don't know. Maybe I can find
Right.
some example of some catastrophe somewhere that the news covered or some study they've done. But I don't think it's gonna be that bad. Not for A2Ls.
No, I think it'll be. I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I got into the trade a little bit after the transition to 410A, so I've never had the opportunity to really work through a change like that. And I'm just interested to see how it goes, man. Just something different to work on.
It'll be interesting to see how it plays out for different people's points of view on it and how it's utilized, whether it's utilized for financial gain or you're just ushering people in because people do need to change their units at certain times. It's just a logical thing to do financially.
Right.
So it just, it'll be used incorrectly, but just
Right.
understanding it is key. Like any training that you can get trained on it. Make sure your tools are suited for it because you need A2L or a flammable refrigerant recovery machine, vacuum pumps, things like that. But a lot of them now they come that way. So if you have anything new, typically I think it's pretty good.
Right. Well, interesting. Well, man, I'm not going to hold you up. I got to go to bed. Believe it or not, my wife and I had triplets in November, so
Oh my gosh.
she needs a little help. So I'm gonna run back inside. But I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and I hope to call back soon, man.
Man, get in there and help that woman.
Oh, I will, bud.
Hey, that's awesome. Congratulations on that, and definitely call back to the show again because it's awesome hearing from people who have never called in.
Yeah, we'll do, Zach. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye. That was pretty cool. Steve, I see you down there. I saw you the whole time here. Let's see. Let's bring in Steve. Steve-O, let me see if I can get you on here. Steve, are you there?
Yeah, I'm right here.
All right, Steve. You want to play? Because we're going to close this thing out. You want to play some skill trade up real quick, win a big prize, and we can wrap this thing up on a high note?
We'll try it real fast, see what happens.
I bet we can do it. It helps because you already know how to play. So
Yeah.
we can skip all these rules.
Yeah, don't need no stinking rules.
We don't need no stinking badges. Wait, different thing. Okay. All right, so here you go. You could be playing for, in round one, the Appian Travel Cup. Oh my gosh. Your beverages will be so well kept at the right temperature. Or Hyper Tough Extended Mirror. Oh my gosh. You'll be able to see everything far away you couldn't reach. Which one would you like to play for? You can pay for them too if you want.
How about the cup?
You already got the cup, so you need the mirror?
No, I need a cup.
You need a cup.
Actually,
Okay.
give me a mirror. I need a mirror.
Hey, this is inconsequential because you're going to blaze by this, and you're not even going to want this prize by the time you get done. So don't even worry about it.
Okay. Let's just go to
Let's stay
round two.
positive. Here you go. Here's your first question. It's going to be an easy question, but as we found out earlier, easy doesn't always mean easy for everybody. So here we go. And away. Actually, it's not super easy. Here you go. If a pressure gauge reads 35 psi at sea level, the absolute pressure would be, this is in PSIA, A, 26.4, B, 42.7, C, 45, or D, 49.7.
Whoa, you're going way too far back. The absolute pressure.
Do you like math?
No, that's why I do heating and air.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you got a point there.
And smart boats.
All right, so what are you thinking? I mean, what do you know about absolute pressure?
Well, I absolutely didn't study it a whole lot
I like your wordplay, though.
because it did not apply to my gauge.
So what would you guess?
Let's do D. I think we're going to have to subtract 35 from something.
Mm-hmm. So do you think it's lower or higher than 35?
Maybe higher. This gauge subtracts absolute.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, Steve, that typically I turn off the chat for these things, but I've left the chat on this time, and the chat seems to want to voice their opinion. If you want to check on them, I will permit it, because I can't
said
stop it.
D. Weaver says D. We'll go with D.
All right, so you and Weaver say D. Is that your
Yeah.
final answer?
That's it.
All right, so therefore it's yeah, that's the right answer. You add 14.7 because that is the difference between the sea level static pressure on the Earth and absolute pressure of 0. It's 14.7. I hope I said that correctly. It doesn't sound like I did. But you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you won the first prize. You got the mirror. I am going to turn off the chat, though, so those little chat boogers will stop answering questions for people if I can remember how to do it, which I can. And I'm going to turn it off right now. And it'll be back in just a moment, everybody. Okay, so you could now win, potentially, either the Heart LED compact flashlight or the Heart LED compact flashlight because someone already won the other prize. Do you want the Heart? Do you want it?
Yeah.
All right. So you want to trade up is what you're saying.
Let's trade up.
All right. Well, trade up. You get. All right. So we're going to go to the next question here, which is going to be, I don't know, could be easy, could be hard, but you'll tell me. All right. This is question number 2. This is for the Heart LED flashlight. Which of the following temperature sensors are most suited to measure 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit? A. RTD. B. Thermistor. C. Thermocouple. D. Thermostatic prism.
Well, the Mister's going to be point good enough. Don't know what an RTD is, so I'm going to go with C. Thermocouple, because that gets pretty friggin' hot, if I remember right.
It seems like they would have to be pretty hot. Yep, on these old furnaces, on the boilers and things. So is that what you were going to say, final answer?
That's what I'm going to stick with, yeah.
Well, you know what? Sir, yes, sir! You're absolutely right. It is a thermocouple. They go up to 1,000 degrees for sure, because I don't know about you, but fire's pretty hot. And
yeah, I've touched one hot. It was pretty hot.
I've also touched things that are fire related, and yes, they were uncomfortable, to say the least. So, okay, so now you can potentially win. You have this LED flashlight, which you're going to see so much stuff with this at night. It's just crazy. But you could switch with the Heart 90-piece mechanics tool set, which has so many sockets. You could be really repairing your car as much as you felt like doing it.
Oh.
What do you think?
Yeah, I don't work on cars. I do heating and air.
Well, you know, you could probably take a blower apart with that. There's some I'm sure you can make it work.
Is that a 1/4 inch ratchet?
I think there's a couple different sizes in there, it looks like. I think it's probably going to end up being a 1/4 and 3/8, but I can't see. Hey, you want to know for real? I can go get the actual thing and look at it.
No, that's all right. I've got a little bitty ratchet set. I guarantee I bought 25 years ago at Johnstone because I had to change a compressor, and I still got it, even though half of the sockets are missing. I've got the ones that I need, but let's go ahead and trade up.
Oh, man, I like your style. You know, I like how you ponder whether you want it or not, even though you're just going to keep on trading, so it doesn't really matter. Wait, where's my noise at? Wait a second. I need it. Where's my noise at? That's more like it. Okay. That's what happens when you hit the wrong button, because you're an idiot. I'm an idiot. I hit the wrong button. So we're going to go to the third question here, and let's see if we can find ourselves something real good. All right, here's a real good third question. Good luck, Steve. You got this. You're going to win yourself 90 sockets. It's going to be awesome. I guarantee it. When frost forms on a heat pump coil in the wintertime, A, airflow through the coil will increase. B, the efficiency of the heat pump decreases. C, the efficiency of the heat pump increases. D, the outdoor coil will be damaged.
We're going to go with B on that one.
Is that a final answer?
Yeah, I'm not even going to phone a friend on that.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, sir!
You're absolutely right, because you work on heat pumps often, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, in the wintertime, yeah.
So, I mean, you might have this false sense of confidence now because you just nailed that one. So you'd be like, oh, these are real easy. But they might not always be easy. So, I mean, you won. That's not it. You won the 90-piece mechanics tool set, but you could have this sweet Ryobi half-inch hammer drill driver kit. You like the Ryobi? Or you like Brent? You stuck up?
Yeah, I don't. Was that a drill or is that ratchet? What does that thing say? That's a hammer drill.
That's a hammer drill right there. You can put in what are the things called? I can't even remember now. The little screws for masonry. I don't even remember what they're called now. But you could do those, or you could just drill holes and stuff. Steve, you can just walk around your house drilling holes and stuff if you want to. Probably about 20 holes that they're small because it's an amp and a half battery. So.
I mainly
Huh?
drill cabinets off of Goodman air handlers.
Hey, Ted, you get yourself a step bit. You can drill through any cabinet or air handler you want to. Make the hole as big as you want. Run wire through it. Don't even put in a connector like everybody else does.
If I use that on a Goodman air handler, you know what's going to happen to them screw holes?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. No. You got to tread softly with them things. Oh, no. Yeah.
That's the don't drill out your holes with an impact wrench.
Hey.
I'm going to stay where I'm at. I'm going to keep the sockets. I'm going to tell you a quick story.
Hey, this is how I take the screws out. Oh, no. The unit's in half. Okay. Do you want to stay right there? That's fine. You tell your story, and this is going to be our signing off moment right here.
Yeah, this goes back to your impact wrench. I was training a guy a couple months or so ago, and he's using an impact wrench. It was wintertime. We was doing combustion analysis. He's drilling holes, and it's like, dude, you're going to have a customer come down and want to know what is going on. It's like, oh, no. Well, about 3 calls later, we're drilling holes in the flue pipe. And here comes the customer running down the steps, yelling, what are you doing to my equipment? Because it just vibrated throughout the whole house. Using an impact just to drill a little hole. And it was like,
he used an impact.
That's perfect.
So he ended up being so loud and vibrating it so much that the people could feel it from the other area of the house?
Not feel it, they just heard it. They're not used to people coming into their house with an impact drill on their $10,000 air conditioner, and all of a sudden here's a guy drilling holes.
Oh, man.
And nobody's ever done that before. It's like, you need to get a quiet drill.
You get one of them hydraulic ones that they were talking about earlier. You can still destroy stuff, but it's quieter.
There you go. Destroy it in peace.
Oh, man. Steve, you look tired, man.
I am tired. I had a do nothing day. I'm one of those kind of tireds, doing nothing all day.
You know what? That's absolutely a thing. That if you don't do something, you just feel just as drained as if you ran 10 miles or something like that. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm resting up because we got this week, and then I have to work Saturday, Sunday, then I have to work Monday through Friday again. And I think I got Memorial Day or something coming up. I think I got to work that day too. So
I think you got a week and a half. Or was it Memorial?
Yeah, I got about a week and a half of straight running to do, so I'm taking it easy today.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, it's good that you take it easy. That's a good thing. It is the Lord's Day actually. I forget that this is Sunday, so you can relax and go to church and come back home and sit in the chair. I mean, me and my wife, went and ate at the Mexican restaurant, which I love. It's awesome. We're hanging out. I did a little bit of, cleaning the house with all the mildew that appears because it's summer in North Carolina. We have trees around our house, so there's mildew all over the vinyl siding. So that was fun. No, it was not.
Look at Weaver. We bought him a check to fix his impact 20 years ago and haven't used it in 19 years. Frylock, hey man.
Yeah. Good old Frylock. Yeah, he's in the chat too. Hey Steve, well man, you can go to bed because I'm about to go to bed. I'm not trained in how to do segues, Steve. That's why it sounds so abrupt like that. I'll get better at it. I'll try to watch the news and see how they do it. I think they just turn to a different camera. They're like, they hold papers and turn to a different camera, and then everybody knows something's changing. So I guess there we go, right there.
You need a teleprompter.
Teleprompter. What am I, the president?
Yeah.
I'll work on it. I'll work on it. He doesn't read those things right anyway. But congratulations, Steve. Your address hasn't changed, I'm guessing.
Yep, still in the same place.
I'll send you some stuff, and you'll get it here in a few days. All right.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, sir.
All right, Steve. Go get some rest, man, and I'll talk to you next time.
Good night, everybody. Y'all be safe.
Take it easy. Oh, Steve-O. And I'm going to transition back to the other camera. Bam. All right. No more calls for today. I think we're about done for today. And I'm going to shut down this other side. Congratulations to Steve-O. He did a great job. We had a couple winners tonight. See? Get on here. Yeah. Oh yeah. I turned the chat off. I see it down there. I turned the chat off so on the harder questions, the chat won't help and give guys the answer because I do want them to know the answer. But on like the very first question or second one, maybe it's kind of cool. I want guys to win something. So, if they look down and say, oh, it is B instead of A, okay, that's not going to break anybody's heart. But if it's on the final question, it's a really big prize, then I definitely want them to know on their own what it is or bow out beforehand. Guys, I really appreciate you watching. I know we went a little bit longer than normal here. And I know it's a little bit late for the East Coast guys. It's 10:20 p.m. I'm going to get on here and probably turn this into a podcast here tonight. We have another podcast coming out tomorrow morning. That is from last week. And I'll be back on Tuesday night. I don't know if we'll play Skill Trade Up. I think I'm going to leave it open. Like, if you guys want to play, we'll just keep on playing. As long as I have stuff that you guys can win, we'll just keep on going with it. And I really enjoy it. I will say, if you guys want to help support the show, thumbs up on the video is a big thing. That's the simplest thing to do. Free of charge. You can just do that real quick. Leave comments on the videos. It always helps. YouTube likes that. Makes them, trick them into thinking that it's popular. That's fine. Comments, thumbs up. You can join and support the channel through like a monthly donation, like financially, at being a member. You can hit the join button on the screen. And I figure what we're doing with that as far as members and our subscribe star, which is the same thing. It's just a off-platform version like Patreon. That if you join those things, we're going to have giveaways at the end of the month. Give away like half of that stuff that we earned back to you guys as like a gift card, and the other half we'll probably put into skill trade-up prizes because that's just a natural way for it to sustain. And I'd feel better about just, we're getting the prizes we want instead of having tool companies step in and say, well, we'll give you a prize, but could you say this, that, this, and that? And I just assume just not to have to do that in that case. So if you want to support, you can do that. On the podcast side, you can leave a review. That's the biggest thing you can do. Just go in there and say, I like the podcast because of la, 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 la. Man, oh, man. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here, guys. If you have any questions for me, hvacshoptalk@gmail.com. I am on Discord. We have a Discord server, HVAC Shop Talk Podcast. There is a, let's see, there is a link in the description, and it should be good. I had to change it out because they have a lifespan, but I made it a perennial, basically. It's going to keep on going and going. You can get on Discord over there. I think that's about it. I need to get out of here. So we're going to wrap it up, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you, guys.